Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing recommending books to Marvel characters. So let's just jump right into that. First off, I have almost all the books physically, and when I don't have, I'll just put a picture up with the book and the character, probably down below somewhere. But first, Miles Morales, Spider-Man. I would recommend him. Don't Read the Comments by Eric Smith. And the reason why is because this book is all about finding your voice online as well as with your peers and finding yourself in that virtual world. And Miles kind of struggles a little bit with keeping his own identity, especially when he becomes Spider-Man. He struggles to be Miles Morales Spider-Man and not live up to Peter Parker and to be his own self. And plus, I really just enjoyed this book, and I think it's really good for people around Miles's age to be reading this, especially like when Miles is like the 14 to 17 range that he normally is in the comics. I think this would be great for him, and I think he'd really enjoy it. So that for Miles. And then I have If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. And this is recommended for, hear me out, Emma Frost. If you don't know Emma Frost, she's a very interesting character, to say the least. She's extremely confident. She's extremely, she is self-controlled, self-owning, very inward on everything. And she is very empowered in her own body and her powers, and she will use them. No matter who you are, she's going to probably use her powers on you. She's a very, very confident person and strong-willed, and there's no talking Emma out of anything. She's also very highly educated and very poised. I don't know how to say that properly, because I am not that. But this kind of book, this very high and mighty, entitled, pompous, what is it called? I don't know. Like, they're very educated and they put it in your face quite a lot in this book. The prose are very strong. The Shakespeare speech is, once again, very strong. And I think, oddly enough, Emma would like how pretentious this is. Because Emma is also very pretentious. For better or for worse, I don't know. But Emma is very pretentious. And so is this book. So, Emma Frost. Next, this one's kind of self-explanatory. This is kind of a cheat because I don't have books of the actual trilogy. All I have is The Silmarillion and The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. And this is for Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Of course. Of course. He's a massive nerd. I have to get him into all the nerdom. And what's more nerdy than the Lord of the Rings / The Hobbit series? Nothing. Literally nothing. So I'd start him on the original trilogy, and then I'd throw him into the world of The Hobbit, then give him the Silmarillion, and then give him all the other J.R.R. Tolkien, and it's all just a bunch of lore dumping, and it's incredible. And I love the original trilogy. I really love The Hobbit. I think that The Hobbit, personally, is my favorite. That's why I have a copy of it and not the original trilogy. Don't kill me. But I really, really enjoyed all of the books, including the Silmarillion, even though that one is literally just nonsensical lore dumping. I still love it. And I think that Peter Parker and all of his nerdism would as well. So, there's that. And now I have a little bit of a cheat here, because I ended up giving 2 books to Gwenpool. That's a character that I'm probably going to have to explain to a lot of you. Gwenpool is a girl named Gwen Pool from our world who was a big, big nerd and a big fan of the comic books. And then she ends up going into the world of the comics, and her ability is being able to change what's on the pages and interact with the comic. And for Gwen, I would recommend 2 books for 2 very similar reasons. First one, Scott Pilgrim. The whole series. Why? Because Scott is a nerd. Scott loves video games. Scott gets the powers of video game characters. Scott Pilgrim basically lives out the life of a video game. That is very Gwenpool. That is extremely Gwenpool. And I think she'd love this. Secondly, we have The Wizard. Because, once again, it's a very nerdy book. It references a lot of, like I've already said on this channel, Cartoon Network, and Adventure Time, beings, characters, references. And it's comedic, it's fun, it's fourth wall breaky, which is very Gwenpool, and I think it's good. I really think both of these would be good recommendations for her as a character. This one is a little harder to leap for. But I think it makes sense. For Polaris, Lorna Dane, Magneto's wonderful daughter, my favorite of Magneto's children, I would recommend Iron Widow. Lorna has so many issues that she's dealing with throughout the comics. For quite a while, she's a villain without wanting to be a villain. She's being controlled. She's doing things without her own influence. And I think Lorna would really appreciate a story about overcoming stuff like that, like Iron Widow is. Taking control back for yourself. And I really think Lorna would love the main character of this book. I also think Lorna would love the idea of this poly relationship. I think overall, Polaris would just really enjoy this story and the empowerment that comes within it. I think she'd really appreciate that. So, Lorna, Iron Widow. And then I have A Dowry of Blood for Illyana. Illyana Rasputin, better known as Magic, is an incredible character, one of my favorite of the X-Men / Midnight Suns / New Mutants crowd. I adore Illyana so much. Magic is an incredible character who is very, very dark and mysterious and in her own head constantly. Illyana likes to stay to herself. Illyana hates everyone for very good reasons, because she was very much betrayed by everyone when she was young, and she won't let anyone in other than her brother, and even then that's kind of iffy. But Illyana, like the characters in this book, has suffered immensely, but has also found love through that, and Illyana has also found love through torment. And I think that Illyana would really appreciate this gothic story of romance, revenge, and becoming oneself again. I think Illyana would really appreciate that. So, there we go. Next. This is a real big jump in characters here. I have Squirrel Girl, and I'm going to recommend to Squirrel Girl the most powerful mutant in all of the Marvel Universe. I'm going to recommend her Ultraviolets. Because Doreen is young. She's very young. She's too young to be dealing with all the power that she has, but has no idea what it is. She is very underestimated for who she is, but she's also very new to this whole thing. And she's learning about her powers, learning how to be a hero, learning how to work with a team, and learning what it means to be a hero. The Ultraviolets is about first-time heroes learning to work together, learning to figure out their powers, and it's a middle grade book, and it's very fun, and it's very friendship focused, and I think that Squirrel Girl needs that. She needs friends other than Tippy Toes and Monkey Joe. Mousy Joe, it's Monkey Joe. Her squirrel friends. She needs more friends than just that, so I think Ultraviolets would be a good lesson for her. And it's fun. Now we're on to the books that I don't have. I only have 4 for this one. And I think, personally, these are some of the most fun. I have Gambit. One of my all-time favorite characters. I love that southern boy and his southern charm. I love Remy LeBeau. He is incredible. If you don't know Gambit, please read some of his comics. Please read some X-Men comics. Or watch the original X-Men cartoon if you really want to understand Gambit's personality. He's an incredible, sassy, confident southern boy. And that's really all you gotta know about him. For Remy, I would recommend The Diviners by Liv Bray. And the reason for that is simple. Very simple. I think he would absolutely love the villain. I think he would adore the villain. And I think he'd like the magic system. I think he'd find it really cool how it's set in the past. I think he would like a time period piece. I think he would really like that. And I think he'd have a lot of fun with that villain. So, The Diviners for Gambit. Then, of course, I have the God of Mischief, theirself, and that is Loki. And, of course, how can I have Loki and not recommend a Neil Gaiman book? It's not possible. I recommend all of Neil Gaiman's books to Loki, but I'm going with this one because I feel like Loki would really like the character of Crowley in Good Omens. Why? Because they're both mischief, but good in the long run. And I think Loki would really appreciate that and the gender fuckery of it all, because just like Loki, the characters in Good Omens are not a specific gender, and they never will be. Thank you, Neil Gaiman, for telling us all that they are all gender fluid, and they don't have an assigned gender because they're angels, and why would they resort themselves to human genders? That makes no sense. Thank you. Thank you, Neil. You're the best. Loki would love that. Loki would love this series. And the cute little freaking relationship between Aziraphale and Crowley, Loki would gobble that up. Loki would just eat that up. You know they would. You know they would. And then, a really odd one here, but hear me out. I have Deadpool and Death and Sparkles. Do I have to explain more? It's chaos. It's chaotic. It's fun. It's dark. It's random. It's somehow deep in the same aspect. And that is Deadpool to me. Deadpool is very, I'm going to break the fourth wall. I'm going to do everything wild, wacky, and insane. But I'm going to get to the point as well. And I think that is what this book does. And I think Deadpool would really like the characters of the unicorn who is full of themselves and just wants popularity and vanity, and then the happy, cheerful Death. I think that the dualities are really what Wade would like. Wade Wilson being Deadpool. And then lastly, I have one of my favorite characters, and that is Nico. Nico is a main character of the Runaways, which is a group of teen-powered people in the comics. The Runaways comics are incredible. The Runaways show, the first season, is incredible. I'm sorry if you watched the rest of it. I watched it just because I adore Nico. Nico's super name is Sister Grimm. If you've ever heard of that, probably not. She barely goes by it. But Nico is also in the Midnight Suns. She's had her turn in the X-Men. She's kind of been everywhere. But she's never really had her own comic series. She really needs one. But for Nico, my goth little baby, I would recommend Teen Killers Club. Because angst. Just pure angst. Teen Killers Club is about a bunch of people who go to a camp prison for being teen killers. That's literally it. And the main character may or may not have killed anyone, but at this camp, someone is killing these teens, and that's what the series is about. And I think Nico would really appreciate how angsty and shit this book is. And that is everything I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a great day. I hope to see you again soon, and bye-bye.